Hi folks, I'm sure you won't mind if I have a seat. It's nice to be here again after a few years off. I loved what Joe Bruce said before. I was going to do something a little bit different because I've spoken to these things before, and but I'm actually writing a book about my experiences of ME 30 years ago when I first had it. So I thought, if it's okay, I could read you an excerpt from the book. And the excerpt I chose was 30 years ago is a long time, but I sort of amalgamated some of the chats I had with doctors around about that time. And this is a chat I had with a good doctor who happened to be a psychiatrist. And I was hoping you could maybe listen to this and maybe see how much has changed since 30 years. But I think with what Joe was saying, not very much, unfortunately. So this is right back to 1992. So I finally got in to see Dr. Doshi. She worked in the big psychiatric hospital just a mile from my house. I was looking forward to the appointment. I wasn't sure what to expect, but she had to be better than Simpson. And I was nervous, so I wanted to tell somebody. So how are you feeling today, Stephen? She asked. Nervous? What's making you nervous? Well, I'm just nervous. I'm nervous when I wake up, and nervous when I go to bed. When did your ME start? Wow, she said ME. She's actually asking me about ME. It started 3 years ago. What sort of help have you had so far? Well, I get my income support. No, I mean, what sort of help with the treatment, support, that kind of thing? Nothing. Nothing. What about your time in hospital? And aside, they put me in a psychiatric hospital for a while back, they didn't know what to do with me. So yeah, it helped. Well, it helped me. A little bit. I put some weight on. I got out of bed. I was a little bit rehabilitated. I sat in a chair instead for a while. But did they address the ME at all? Well, whenever I mentioned it to anybody in the hospital, they gave me a look as if I was talking about a magic land. A magic land, she said, her eyebrows raised. They just looked at me like I was talking about something that never existed. I would say that one of the nurses was sympathetic, and she said, well, what about Dr. Simpson? What about your psychiatrist? I would say especially Dr. Simpson was skeptical. In fact, he was completely dismissive. So I looked at the doctor. I said, Dr. Doshi, I'm not mad, I didn't say you were. I mean, I'm a bit affected by everything. I went a little bit mental a few months back, but maybe that's not surprising. But I'm not mad. I'm certain you're not mad, Stephen. I'm just trying to understand a little bit more about you so I can help. I thought about it and I looked at her. I mean, she was cool and everything. I wanted to believe her like I wanted to believe the rest of them. But the mind was her business. And I wanted somebody to fix my body, then I could fix my mind. My main problem is the ME. If I wasn't so weak and sick all the time, I wouldn't be depressed. Well, how does it affect you? Well, it affects me every day. I feel ill every day. It's like having a cold or a flu. But if you say that to someone, it's like big deal. Everybody gets a cold or a flu, but that's not the point. Imagine having the first day of a cold or a flu every day of your life. Feeling sick and weak every day, what that does to you. The days and the years, it messes everything up. She seemed a little bewildered by my flow of words. So what happened a few months back? She said to me, I don't really know. I think my luck ran out. I've been ill a few years. If you're restricted in what you can do, what you can't, and you can't get out, and you're always cold, you can't have a girlfriend, and you can't work, it probably adds up. And she said, it probably does. Well, that's as much sympathy I got from that fictional psychiatrist. I hope that gives you a little snapshot. There's some funny stuff. I mean, this, it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, the ME, I was very lucky that I had, that we formed an ME group. This was before the internet. And you know, we try to see the funny side of it. It's so important to stay positive through this and get good support from your friends, whoever you can. And that's what I've been writing about as well. It's obviously a life-changing experience. But anyway, I hope you guys watching at home, I hope you're doing as well as possible. I really hope we can get some sort of change from coming out here again, and the folks in the Scottish Parliament actually do something this time. Thank you very much.